We are like in a real life state of emergency, y'all. Like, this is craziness. Like, what's going on in our community? Like, if we don't wake up and realize the self-destruction and the self-sabotage, and it's just bad, like what's happening in our community. I tuned in last night to the Black coronavirus panel Diddy had, and it was infuriating, to say the least. Just, it was informative and it was beautiful, and it came from a wonderful place. I'm happy that we have a platform that we can come together and voice our issues collectively. But yeah, it just highlighted just the catastrophe that we are facing as I want to say people, and I want to say a nation. I want to say, a family. We are all that and above, but it was just bad to watch. And not this, it wasn't bad because they were giving away bad information. It was bad because there was a lot of self-reflection and self-realization that was occurring while watching this episode. I have no idea what's going on with my lipstick, but oh well. I've been eating, so I digress. But yeah, it was bananas. And I'm not gonna say like the whole thing was bananas. I'm not even gonna lie and tell you that I tuned in for the whole thing, because I did not tune in for the whole thing. I only watched a couple of pieces, and so I can't voice my opinion on pretty much anything in the panel except for what I got out of a certain specific piece. And it was, as you probably know because I wrote it, Fat Joe. And when he said that he was giving the real spill on what he thinks is happening, and he said our youth is acting very ignorant. And that just really just was like, whoa. It's one of those things when people say stuff to you that just hits a chord. It makes you think in different ways. And when he said our youth is acting very ignorant, I'm sitting here thinking, is it an act? Yeah, our youth is clowning. They've always been clowning. But are they clowning as an act? Or are they very ignorant? And that's what I got from it. And it was like, they're not acting very ignorant. They are very ignorant. They don't have a clue what's going on. And it's not specifically set to coronavirus. Our youth is just ignorant to life in general. They have no idea what life is about, what they're here for, what they're meant to do, their purpose. They're sad, they're misguided, they're miseducated, they're depressed. They have been completely failed as a whole by the people who are supposed to love, nurture, and support them. So when he said that the youth was acting ignorant, like my mind just couldn't grasp the act part. And it's like, and then it was just, you come to the point to where you have to really take a step back and look at the situation. He said the youth is posted out in front of the store. They don't care if they get their grandma sick. And can you blame them? Like, is it really their fault? Everyone has failed the youth. They have nothing to do but act in accordance or, manifest the road that was laid out before them. You have everyone who is supposed to be guiding and educating and nurturing properly our young has dismissed themselves from duty. And it was really interesting, to hear an individual in the hip-hop community say, that the youth is acting very ignorant. And it's just like, well, have you not seen what the community has done to them? Especially the hip-hop community? You've taught them to self-hate, self-destruct, and live a suicidal life and a suicidal, homicidal, genocidal existence. And now you expect them to care because a virus struck home when you've given them no home to care about. And I just found that very interesting, to say the least. I could really get into it, but I just prefer not to, but that statement, it was just like, especially for a member, and it's not him specifically, we have all felt the youth. As parents, we're the number one teachers. We're not doing what we're supposed to be doing as parents to the youth, and you send them off to this miseducated of an education system, and teach them that they have no value at home, and so they act like they have no value in public. Then they look for, value outside the home, to the hip-hop culture, which is I would say I don't know if I want to say which one comes next. Is it the church that is more influential over the youth, or the hip-hop culture? Either way, they are both failing drastically. The church has failed to show the youth who they really are and teach the Word of God in its proper context, and has decided to rob the youth. And hip-hop culture has taught the youth to lie, cheat, steal, and destroy themselves. And so they have no idea what they're doing in this world, and they're just angry and mistaught, misguided. And yes, we can all educate ourselves. And when I say the youth, of course, there are lots of young individuals who are not associated with what we're describing, but we're not talking about that, because obviously they're not part of the issue. We're talking about the youth that's part of the issue of solving the problem. But it's crazy to watch the people who create the problem, or have created the problem, took part in creating the problem, now just look and say, like, I don't know how I feel about these individuals at this time. I mean, my personal feelings over anyone doesn't really matter, because I can't really point fingers individually at anyone. We are all a collective unit on doing this destruction to ourselves. But until we can come together and admit what we have done collectively, and we implement the processes and eradicate the individuals who are not helping fix the problem, then there's not really much to discuss. And we will continue to have our own demise. And it's just crazy to me. This is like, all of a sudden they wanted the youth to care. All of a sudden we want them to have a heart when we taught them to be heartless. All of a sudden we want them to have knowledge when we taught them to be ignorant. All of a sudden we want care and compassion, yet we have shitted on them and dumped on them for how many years? And brothers and sisters have been sold out to defend for themselves at the end of the day. And it's just a lot of reflection going on. And I just found that whole topic, in the whole coronavirus conversation, kind of like very illuminated. I feel like personally, the coronavirus is killing a lot of people, and it's very unfortunate, but I feel like the coronavirus is also doing a very divine work, and it's illuminating I ain't getting into that, a lot of issues within our community. And a lot of these houses that have been built, it's time to take them down. It's time to destroy a lot of things. And I really just wish that people will come to a point, and this has nothing to do with rich or poor, or celebrity or no celebrity. We all need to come to a point of self-realization of what we've done in our community to destroy it. Take accountability for our individual actions as a human being, of how we've contributed to this huge astronomical issue that's being highlighted by the coronavirus within our community. And until we get down to the nitty-gritty, until we're able to actually, about to drop the phone, until we're actually able to face ourselves and acknowledge our mistakes, our wrongs, both privately and publicly, we will not be able to move forward from this situation the way we need to as a people. This situation is detrimental. It's terrible. However, also, like I said, it's divine. Whether you realize that or not, whether you want to admit it or not, whether you embrace it or not, whatever, that's you and your own personal issue. But we are set to do a work right now. And the clock has stopped. We are on pause to take a look, like a deep look, at ourselves, our lives, our legacy. And the funny thing was, along this talk, on the side panel, there was two words that just kept repeating itself. People kept saying boule, 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 which I'm not gonna get into, we know. But then when they were also reparations. Because, if you're on the frequency, we all know what time it is right now, and everyone knows reparations are due. The time is now for reparations. However, if we are not a healed people, and we are not ready to receive those reparations, and we don't get our youth, our young, and our children in order, there is no need for the reparations, because there is no one to pass the legacy to. There is no one to give the torch to, because as you can see, it's being highlighted that we're torching the shit out of ourselves. And until we're actually able to sit down with each other, and hell, in the own mirror, one-on-one, and say, this is how I contributed to the fall of my race. This is how I contributed to the demise of my brother, to the demise of my sister. And this is how I'm going to rectify it. And we need to come to that soon. And we need to do what we need to do to make the problems that we are facing go away. Money is not going to take care of it. And, it's such a sad place, like, that we really, like, when you just come to the realization of the youth, where it's standing now, and it's all because of money, pride, ego, whatever, but all of these things that, as you can see today, this pandemic has illuminated, means absolutely fucking nothing. And you have the aftermath of all this destruction that has been created for absolutely fucking nothing. Yeah, you had a good time, got splurged a little bit. Yeah, there was fond memories, but there's such a greater cause, and there's such a greater gift that we need to give than money. Materialistic gain is definitely not the answer for anything that we're going through right now. I advise everyone to take this time to personally look at themselves within, and get in tune spiritually. And if you don't believe in anything spiritually, then have mercy on you. But I don't mean to say it like that, but she's like, this is really not a time not to know God. if you don't know, you better find somebody who and ask them and find out what time it is, because this is really not the time. But yeah, I want us to be happy. I want us to be whole. I want us to heal. I want us to love each other. And like I said, it's not one person. We are a collective, We're all one unit. And the faster we can, as Black people, realize that, and I'm not discriminating against other races here, but this is really about us right now. This message is about us, and my message is about us, and this message is about us. And if you are in tune with the frequency, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the answer is here, just like Diddy said last night. The answer is love, and we have to love each other enough to love ourselves. We have to love ourselves enough to know that the answer is healing. And by healing, we need to address the fact that we are sick. And until we get to that level, until we're able to address that shit, it doesn't matter whatever else is going on out here. Until we get to the nitty gritty of the root of the issue, and deal with us and hold hands across America, like Jordan Peele so eloquently put it, and get our shit together and deal with us individually and collectively. None of your solutions, plans, or any of that shit is gonna work. Money's not gonna save you. Time, I would say time is not gonna save you, but as you can see, time is over for now. And yeah, it's a new day, and the faster people wake up and realize what time it is, time to break the curse and keep it pushing. Let's move forward and do what we need to do. And it's a lot of people in the shadows right now. I was once in the shadows too. I know how that feels, but I'm just gonna say this because I have to be obedient. If you are in the shadows and you're not supposed to be there, and you're still hiding, it's time to come out. And I was told that several times, and me telling you it's not going to be the first or the last. And those who that is for know who that's for. But yeah, I want us to heal, and we are so sick. And until we not acknowledge the disease within us collectively, and we acknowledge that the fact that it's our fault that our youth is the way it is, and until we do what we're supposed to do and heal the youth, then God have mercy on us all. That's all I want to say. And love you guys. Have a great day.